What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification, put it on all so you get notified of all the latest content on the channel as and when it drops. So let's get into it. As you all will know, Daniel Dubois knocked out Trevor Bryan inside 4 rounds over there in Miami at a very strange, what looked like a dinner show by Don King and that. So he's a man now who's got the WBA regular title. They were going on about how it's the same title David Haye had. I would staunchly disagree with that because, of course, David Haye would have had the full belt and there wouldn't be the super version that Alexander Usyk is in possession of right now. So it's not the full title, but yes, it bears the WBA name, so it's something. But anyway, so there's been a few interviews floating around of Frank Warren, and Frank Warren is really doing his job as a promoter. He's really bigging up Daniel Dubois, talking about opponents. As you'll know, if you watch the Dubois versus Bryant fight, the name that he and Coach Shane McGuigan mentioned was Dillian the Body Snatcher White. So they mentioned that and sort of called out Dillian White straight away. But Frank Warren actually went a few steps further in the interview sort of after the fact. He said, yeah, Dillian White can have it. You know, he can have it. We could get Dillian White in there. He seems, at least in the interviews, very confident in his man to beat Dillian White. But also he took it one step further by, he did mention Joe Joyce rematch quietly. And he went on to mention Anthony Joshua. And he said that Anthony Joshua is made for Daniel Dubois. So in his opinion, Anthony Joshua is a guy that he would be made. Dubois would just eat him up, and Dubois could beat him quite comfortably because he's just sort of tailor-made for Daniel Dubois. Now that's a very bold claim, and it shows you exactly what Frank Warren thinks of Anthony Joshua. And in a sense, I can see what he's saying. I mean, I would staunchly disagree. I don't think he's ready for a guy like Anthony Joshua as yet. But I suppose in the grand scheme of things, when you've seen somebody in a vulnerable state, as we've seen with Anthony Joshua, we've seen the losses to Ruiz and to Usyk and stuff like that. So you've seen him at his worst. And when you've seen someone like that, you can't unsee it. And it can sort of flatter to deceive that, yeah, if he's vulnerable, if he's shown any weaknesses, that my guy, big, strong, young, fresh guy like Daniel Dubois can go in there and mess up Anthony Joshua. But for me, nah, I don't think he's ready for that. But I get the idea. It's a good thing for the promoter to do, to sort of big up his man and to talk on his man's behalf. Daniel Dubois is not really much of a talker, but yeah, it's good to say things like that, I suppose, on his behalf to build your man's confidence. And I suppose that's at least in part what it is. Daniel Dubois also, he was interviewed, and when he was asked about this fight between, his one was like, they were asking about Usyk versus Joshua rematch. And he was saying very hard for Joshua to win, sort of thing. But in terms of who he would prefer and who he would fancy his chances against, he was saying that, yeah, Joshua suits me better, that Joshua stylistically. So according to Daniel Dubois, when he was asked, he was pretty confident, just like Frank Warren was. And he was saying that, yeah, if there's a preference, if there's an easier fight between Joshua and Usyk, I'm going to say Joshua, for me, is easier for me. He will sort of suit my style a lot better than Usyk would. And I believe that, yeah, 100%, as much as I'd say, yeah, Joshua would carries that fight-ending KO power, at the same time, Usyk would be a more complicated puzzle to actually solve. Usyk would be the more difficult target to hit. He's a mover. The head movement is brilliant. The footwork is brilliant. So yeah, of course, Joshua, as good as he is, he's good. I know a lot of people do write him off nowadays, but Joshua's a very good fighter, and he's not as complicated. He's not that complicated a puzzle to solve. Whereas Usyk, you'd have to worry about a lot of things: counter punching, footwork, movement, tracking him down. Like there's so much that you'd have to worry about with Alexander Usyk that I can sort of see where Dubois is coming from. Joshua's the bigger man and whatnot, and he's probably right on that. But I'd still say not quite ready for Joshua, but it's good to see the confidence in him, because I suppose at the same time I'm saying he's not quite ready for that. But with his trinket, with his WBA belt, it does put him in, pole position to challenge these guys, and to challenge these guys pretty soon, depending what happens in the rematch, and if they have a third fight or if they fight Fury or whatever. So there's definitely room for improvement with him. And anyway, let me know what you think about this. What do you think about Frank Warren's words that Joshua is just tailor-made for Daniel Dubois, and Daniel, very confident of Daniel Dubois beating guys like Dillian White and all that sort of thing. And let me know your thoughts. Until next time, MKO Pugilism over and out.